Hi, good morning. This is Noga Sachs, candidate for U.S. Congress, Missouri District 2. That's St. Charles County, St. Louis County, and Jefferson County. You might notice that my hair is kind of crazy. I woke up, brushed my teeth, washed my face, put on sunscreen. I'm on my way to the gym. I wanted to talk to you about reproductive responsibility right away. Can't spare a minute, so let's go. Let's go to the gym together. A lot of people have asked me, hey Noga, when does life begin? And I think, gosh, I feel like you should ask that question of somebody who actually is responsible for, those types of decisions. And obviously, I'm a mere mortal. I don't make that type of choice. However, I will say, as a mere mortal, I do think it is absolutely integral that we have a sense of responsibility around our reproductive activities. I think life actually needs to begin in the minds of the man and the woman when they choose to engage in unprotected intercourse, because that is the only way that mortals can in any way affect when life begins. Mortals only have that ability. If a person is to engage in unprotected intercourse, I think that they need to recognize that that is the only way that they can determine. And of course, they don't get to decide when yes, when no. But that's the only way that they can determine it. Now, if an individual wants to have intercourse but isn't ready to create life, I think they should be responsible. I think that they shouldn't engage in intercourse in the absence of protection. So I'll give a story about my aunt. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love my aunt. My mom's sister. My dad's sister-in-law is awesome also, but this story is about my mom's sister. I love them all, but my mom's sister was struggling to have a baby. She really wanted to. She married this great guy. My uncle is awesome. Love the two of them so much. And they were struggling to have a kid. And the only choice that they had, although they were trying with all of the mechanisms that they could use, the only choice that they had was to, use some reproductive drugs. They were responsible about it. From that, they had twin kids, my cousins, Ophir and Galit. I love all of them. I love the two of them. I love the four of them so much, and all of their kids. It's wonderful. Now, on the flip side, just to indicate how much mortals don't have a choice, on the flip side, so my aunt, Nurit, struggled, and she had to use some medical interventions. On the flip side, my birth, when I was, I don't know, negative however much time, my mom and dad had just moved to the United States of America with four kids, and they were immigrants to the U.S. They weren't ready to have another kid. They weren't trying to have another kid, but like I said, mortals don't have full control. And they were blessed with a baby. Now, my mom has had a little bit of pregnancy complications, and it was consulted that she not go through with the pregnancy. And thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom and Dad, right? She of course didn't terminate that pregnancy, and that's me today. But if they had wanted to not have a kid, they aren't in full control. So when you ask me, when does life begin? My answer is, the only choice that a man and a woman have about when life begins is when they choose together to have unprotected sex. Now, where does that go from there? What is reproductive responsibility? It's ensuring that the reproductive activities that a person takes on are responsible with regards to the choices, the consequence that a person is willing to adopt. Now, of course, from there you can't determine if and when it will go through, right? Look at my mom, look at her sister. However, you can know that the risk is there if you think of it as a risk, or the possibility is there if you're aiming to have a baby. And that is within your control, whether or not you engage in unprotected intercourse. But on the flip side, where does government come in? How could I possibly control what a man and a woman decide? And I can't. Of course not. And it's a man and a woman's free right to choose when and if they choose to have a baby. However, things that the government doesn't enforce, as much as I think it possibly could, would be to enforce that both parties have chosen that. If a child is conceived, I don't see a reason why only one party would have to be responsible for that life that they jointly created. The process of creating life isn't a singular process, as we know. It's a joint process. And my question is, if we are to have reproductive responsibility, where does the government come in enforcing that joint responsibility? Because as we know, it's not just one person responsible for that. I'd love to explore some options that we have with physicians that we can have to determine DNA, to determine potential wage garnishing, just to ensure that both parties are equally responsible. So that's my answer to your question. When does life begin? It's not up to me. But I do believe strongly in reproductive responsibility, and that is my stance. Reporting to you today from Creve Coeur. This is my neighborhood on my way to the gym. Thank you for joining me. My name is Noga Sachs, candidate for U.S. Congress, District 2. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.